Owes my family an apology.
For years, Kimmi Scott tried her best to be the calm one, the reasonable one, the woman who held her marriage together even when the cracks started to show. She didn't yell, she didn't drag anybody online, and she sure didn't jump on social media every time something felt off. She carried herself with dignity, even when life threw storms at her that would have broken most people. But today, that quiet, patient, forgiving woman is gone.
Because when a woman finally reaches her breaking point, when she's been pushed too far, lied to too many times, and forced to swallow pain she never asked for, she doesn't just speak, she erupts.
And this time, Kimmi didn't hold anything back. The internet woke up confused when her post went live. A simple message at first glance, a caption that didn't name names.
I think some of the stuff needs to be addressed. Like all that extra behind the scene talking with your friends and all that, and you can't say it to a person. Yeah, that's like, yeah, you need to say it to them.
Didn't point fingers, but the tone told the story. It was the kind of message that comes only when a woman is done protecting someone who never protected her. The comment section immediately exploded with questions. What happened? Who hurt her? Where was Maurice? And within hours, the receipts started coming out. Receipts that pointed straight to Maurice. Receipts that revealed a secret affair so messy, so disrespectful, and so bold that even longtime fans who defended him for years finally had to step back and say, okay, this is different. But to understand why this moment is hitting so hard, why Kimmi finally snapping feels like the earthquake nobody saw coming, we have to look back. Because this story didn't begin with a single fight or a single lie.
Now, honey, and before you get on social media, TV, YouTube, talking about what you think you know, maybe reach out to the people that you're about to talk about and ask maybe if it's true or not. Because it can land you in trouble when you speak of people that's not true.
It began years ago, back when everything looked perfect, at least from the outside. Long before the rumors, the screenshots, and the late-night whispers, Kimmi entered this relationship with hope, with trust, with the kind of love that wasn't performative or exaggerated for TV cameras. She wasn't loud, she wasn't flashy, she wasn't chasing fame. She wanted stability, partnership, a marriage that felt like a safe place, not a battlefield. And when the world met her on Love and Marriage Huntsville, she instantly became the fan favorite. Not because she tried, but because she was real. She was grounded. She was someone women could actually relate to. But even then, something felt off. People noticed how often Maurice traveled, how often he seemed distant, how often Kimmi had to explain away things he should have been explaining himself. But she didn't complain. She didn't embarrass him. She gave him the benefit of the doubt again and again and again.
It has a point, and sometimes it's hard to hear.
Her eyes were moist too.
When she said, "I'm sorry, I love you," yeah, we thought they had a turning point in St. Thomas. Like by the time we got back, things were very different. Than the energy, Destiny had by the time we got back was different than what we thought we saw while we were there.
Even when the math wasn't mathing. And then life tested her in the harshest way. When she was diagnosed with cancer, the entire world rallied behind her. Fans cried for her, prayed for her, rooted for her. And through it all, she stayed strong. Quietly strong, the kind of strong that doesn't announce itself, but shows up every single day. Yet, even then, even during the darkest chapter of her life, she was still the one carrying emotional weight in that marriage. She was still the one giving more than she received. She was still the one trying to hold everything together while fighting for her life. And that's where the heartbreak begins. Because while she was battling a disease that could have taken her life, the man she trusted most was allegedly out doing things that could have taken her heart. For months, whispers floated around online, messages from anonymous pages, claims from people who said they knew things.
Or hear me call somebody and say, hey man, or hey lady, your guy's cheating on you.
I don't disagree. I'm not saying that you would.
Oh.
What I am saying is that you don't sit and be complicit in it as far as finishing out the evening. Because I wouldn't want the person that I'm friends with to think that I think this is okay. Even after the words come out of my mouth, your actions speak louder than words.
I believe that actions speak louder than words as well. And I don't know how many phone calls I've had with Melody and Martell about their situation.
I hear what you're saying, and it doesn't change my opinion.
Yeah, we're at an impasse.
Comments under fan posts like, "Y'all just don't know what's really going on behind the scenes." Most people ignored it. Some brushed it off as jealousy or typical reality TV mess. And Kimmi? She stayed silent. Not because she didn't know, not because she didn't sense something was wrong, but because she wasn't ready to turn her pain into a public spectacle. But here's the twist. When a woman is quiet, it doesn't mean she's clueless. It means she's watching everything. While Maurice brushed off rumors as internet noise, Kimmi was connecting dots. When he started guarding his phone, she noticed. When work trips got longer, when the explanations got shorter, when he suddenly became way too protective over his passwords, Kimmi didn't say a word, but she saw it all. And when it became too much to ignore, she did something she never thought she would do. She hired a private investigator. Not out of pettiness, not out of insecurity, but out of self-respect. Because no woman wants to accuse a man she loves of cheating unless she knows she has to. And what came back was the moment everything changed. The investigator didn't bring rumors. He brought screenshots, time-stamped messages, hotel logs, phone records, pictures of Maurice in places he should have never been, with someone he should have never seen. And the part that broke Kimmi's heart the most? The woman wasn't some random stranger. She was connected to their circle, someone who had been around, someone who smiled in her face. When Kimmi saw the proof, it didn't just hurt, it shattered her. But even then, she didn't run to social media. She didn't expose him. She didn't drag him through the mud. She tried one last time to handle it privately. And that's the part people don't talk about enough. The quiet conversations behind closed doors. The long nights she cried herself to sleep. The moments she asked him to tell her the truth, and he still lied. Because according to what's been revealed, even after she confronted him with receipts, he still tried to manipulate the situation. He tried to downplay it. He tried to twist timelines. He tried to blame stress, depression, emotional disconnect. All the things men say when they want to soften the blow of betrayal. And Kimmi, she listened. Not because she believed him, but because she needed to hear him admit it. But he didn't. Not until everything blew up online. Because when the other woman, yes, the same woman from the investigator's report, started bragging in private messages that eventually leaked, when screenshots of their conversations hit social media, when photos of their secret meetups began circulating, the truth was no longer something he could hide. Maurice's dirty affair was out. And that's when Kimmi snapped. Her post wasn't loud, it wasn't angry, it wasn't dripping with insults, but it carried a heaviness, a finality, a tone that made the entire internet stop scrolling and say, "Oh, she's done. She wrote from the heart, from the pain, from the place inside her that had been stretched so thin it could no longer hold the weight of his lies. And for the first time since fans met her, Kimmi wasn't the calm one. She wasn't the patient one. She wasn't the silent one. She was a woman standing in her truth, refusing to shrink anymore. And the fallout was immediate. Fans erupted. Some were heartbroken for her. Others were infuriated at Maurice. Many felt betrayed themselves because they trusted the narrative they saw on TV. They believed Maurice was the stable one, the structured one, the responsible one. But this exposed a side of him he worked very hard to hide. And the emotional toll? It wasn't just on Kimmi. It was on her children, who've watched their mother fight for her life and now have to watch her fight for her peace. It was on her family, who tried to support her while staying out of the drama. It was on her career, because reality TV doesn't pause when real life gets messy. Cameras roll, producers want reactions, fans want answers, and Kimmi, she had to navigate all of that while processing betrayal from the man she once saw as her forever. But what nobody expected was her next move. Instead of disappearing, instead of hiding, instead of letting her pain swallow her whole, she showed up stronger than ever. She went public, not for clout, not for pity, but for clarity. She wanted her voice back. She wanted her narrative back. She wanted her life back. And when she finally addressed the affair, she didn't stutter, she didn't sugarcoat, she didn't pretend. She spoke from a place of truth. She talked about loyalty, she talked about trust, she talked about how she stood by him through everything, through drama, through pressure, through sickness, and he repaid her by giving himself to someone else. Her honesty broke people's hearts, but it also inspired them. Because for the first time, fans weren't just seeing a reality TV star. They were seeing a woman who refused to let betrayal define her. And that brings us to what happens next. Right now, the internet is split. Some believe Maurice is sorry. Some think he's only sorry because he got caught. Some want Kimmi to walk away for good. Others think she deserves the time and space to decide for herself. But one thing everyone agrees on is this: Kimmi deserves peace. She deserves honesty. She deserves love that doesn't come with humiliation. Her strength in the middle of all this chaos has reminded women everywhere that silence is not weakness, that healing is not linear, and that choosing yourself, even after years of loyalty, is not a failure. It's freedom. And as for what comes next in this storm, only time will tell. But one thing is crystal clear: Kimmi isn't breaking. She's transforming. And sometimes, the loudest revenge is rising from the pain with your head held high, your voice reclaimed, and your spirit no longer weighed down by someone else's secrets. Now the question is, will Maurice take responsibility beyond the cameras? Will he do the work required to repair what he destroyed? And will Kimmi even want that? Or is this the beginning of a new chapter, one where she finally puts herself first? Tell me what you think. Is this marriage salvageable? Should Kimmi move on? And do you think this is the whole truth or just the beginning? Let's talk about it in the comments.